Hey everyone, it's Chris with HotShotsCatering.com, and today's episode is going to be all about that PSL. So PSL, what does it mean? Pumpkin Spice Latte. And today I'm showcasing two of the best that you can get right now. So stay tuned and we'll get into it. So let's get into it. So we have the Dunkin' Donuts Pumpkin Latte, and then we also have the Starbucks Pumpkin Spice Latte. So which one should we try first here? What do you guys think? I'm thinking the Dunkin' Donuts Pumpkin Latte. So we're gonna try that one first. But before we go any further than that, before we even do the tasting, we have to see what it looks like, right? So you're gonna see up here to my right-hand corner, you're gonna see a visual representation of this latte when I first got it and what exactly it looks like. And so when I got it, I looked at it, it was almost completely foam. There was no cinnamon, nothing kind of fancy on it. It was just a hot, I guess, latte that was mostly foam. So I don't know, maybe that's more of a cappuccino. I didn't get too much into trying them, but I would say it was foamy enough to be almost considered a cappuccino, let's put it that way. The other thing, there was, like I said, there was no toppings, nothing on it, no whipped cream, nothing like that. Now, if we go over to the pumpkin spice latte on the Starbucks side, you can see that here. That guy actually this guy here had whipped cream on top of it. And it looked appealing, it was nice. So I would say, starting out just visual, when you first receive the cup, which I think is an important aspect of this, as far as restaurants or cafes or whatever, I know in the previous videos I've talked about this, but representation is key as far as I'm concerned. And so if you're giving someone just a standard cup of coffee and you say there's a flavor in it, well, that's great, but does it excite me when I look at it? So I would say the winner for that, as far as looks, is definitely Starbucks. Starbucks at least put whipped cream on it. They didn't do it like they do in my visual background here, or how they do it typically, they say in their advertisements, but you know how that goes. So anyways, Starbucks is the winner as far as visuals. I would say, what was interesting too is I tried to make this as a fair comparison as possible. Now, if you're watching anyone else's videos out there, you will also notice that a lot of these folks that do this, one, they probably don't drink coffee a lot. Some people are doing like a nitro pumpkin versus the pumpkin spice and all this stuff. I don't get into that. What you're gonna see in my reviews when I do a review, unless I say otherwise, I'm trying to give you the best representation, the best comparison between both things. So I'm not doing an iced latte versus a hot latte. There's a difference there. So you'll see that both of these are roughly the same size. I was actually surprised. I don't get a lot of coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, but I was surprised at their latte when I asked what their smallest size was. They said they had 10 ounce. And this 10 ounce goes from a 10 ounce to a 16 ounce. Now, I would almost say, I don't think this is a 12 ounce. Yeah, it looks like it's a 10 ounce. So they were definitely right on that. Sometimes, people say it's a 10 ounce and it's really a 12 or an 8. So anyways, it's definitely a 10 ounce. This one here is their tall, and I believe this is their 12 ounce, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 12 ounce. So also, just a quick tip, if you ever want to know what size your cup is, at the very bottom on the outside rim down here, it typically says from the cup manufacturer. So just a good kind of knowledge base for you. So both of these lattes, visuals, like I said, Starbucks wins that one. As far as size, I actually like the 10 ounce size. When I get a coffee, I don't get the 64 ounce like probably a lot of people do. Maybe you watching probably do. And that's great that there's a certain place for that. If you want your coffee all day long and you want to taste it, that's perfectly fine. But I will tell you, there will be different tastes if you do a 64 or 24, whatever ounces they're up to now. But when you do that size and you compare it to like a 10 ounce or a 12 ounce, the notes are gonna be completely different. And I promise you, if you go to different Starbucks or different Dunkin' Donuts, it's gonna be a little bit different. So that's where my conclusion comes with the sizes. We need to focus on something roughly the same size and roughly the same quality as far as what it's made like. So that's where we come in with the 10 ounce and the 12 ounce. Okay, so now let's get into the price. So the price of the Starbucks, let's start there. So the price of the Starbucks Pumpkin Spice Latte. Now this pricing could be totally different. I'm here in Dallas, Texas, so the pricing can be a little bit different than based on where you're at. If you're in New York City, you're probably gonna pay a little bit more. If you're in LA, it might be a little bit different there as well. So the Pumpkin Spice Latte for a 12 ounce was $4.45, okay? Now, the Dunkin' Donuts price was $2.89. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And I have to kind of like look at these because I bought a couple other things. So anyways, this is obviously almost what, $2 difference practically. So, you know, it's 2 ounces shorter, not 2 ounces, was it? Yeah, 2 ounces shorter. So 10 versus 12, you're paying less than $2, so $1 an ounce, I guess, if you want to compare it that way. But really the comparison is going to be not so much how the price is, okay? Would you spend an extra $2 if something tasted better? I'm sure you would. If you're like me, you would. So let's start with the Dunkin' Donuts. Let's try that one. So we're just going to do a quick taste here. Okay. I can definitely taste the pumpkin spice. That's a good thing, or the pumpkin. And it, you know, they call it pumpkin. I asked for pumpkin spice. Maybe they're putting pumpkin spice out there. I didn't see it on the menu, but it definitely tastes like pumpkin spice. So I can definitely taste the pumpkin. It, to me, tastes like your standard pumpkin spice if you've ever had one. Now, if you've never had pumpkin spice, you definitely taste the pumpkin notes. And then there's a little bit of a spicy, like cinnamon or kind of like a nutmeg type taste that kind of follows it. And that's what pumpkin spice is all about. It's definitely sweet the way it is. I can still taste a little bit of the coffee, but this one to me is gonna taste like the most like a syrup pumpkin spice, if that makes sense. But let's go back to that. I'm gonna cleanse my palate with some sparkling water here. I always like to do that so that I'm giving you the best review possible. Always good to cleanse and be able to do the next tasting. So now we got the Starbucks Pumpkin Spice. This one to me definitely tastes more natural, if that makes sense. So first off, just by these tastes, I can definitely tell this is a syrup. It's very, very sweet. It has all the notes that you would expect out of a pumpkin spice. The cinnamon, the nut, kind of nutmeg or whatever, different types of spices that are chasing that pumpkin spice or the pumpkin. But this one actually seems like almost like more like real pumpkin. It doesn't taste as fake, if that makes sense. It's very sweet, very good. It has more of a buttery taste. So the taste on the Dunkin' kind of falls off. It's just, you know, this is my sugar, this is the sweetness, and then that's it. This kind of gives you a little bit more velvety, buttery type taste with it. Which I think is very good. So let's go back to this one. This is definitely sweeter to me. It's really sweet first, and then you start getting those flavors, the pumpkin spice, the pumpkin, the spice, all that together. So I would actually say I think I like this Starbucks one better. This is actually good, but it kind of falls flat. It's sweet, falls flat. There's not really much impact of the coffee. I can taste a little bit of the coffee, but really it kind of falls flat. The Starbucks, I can taste probably a little bit more of the coffee, but I definitely taste the flavor. And like I said, it's more rich, it's more buttery, if that's a thing. And I almost feel like the spices overpower the pumpkin in this. Yeah, to me, it's definitely actually more spices than pumpkin. And this kind of just falls flat. And when I say falls flat, to me, I like to taste the coffee with whatever it is. And I feel like this hits you with the flavor, mostly sugar, mostly sweet, and then literally just ends. There's not really anything after. Whereas the Starbucks one, I can still taste the flavor. And it's probably, now that I'm drinking it more, it's probably less pumpkin and more spices. And I kind of like that, kind of like a chai. I mean, I definitely taste the pumpkin early on, but then it quickly gets overwhelmed by the spices and that. So I'll tell you, they're both great. I think if I was going to go out and drink one, I wouldn't say any of them are bad if you like pumpkin spice. We are talking about a flavoring in a coffee here. So, you know, if I was going to do a really good comparison, I'd probably do their coffee and whatever they're using as a base, taste that first, then with it made as a latte to kind of just see what the differences are. But I will say the Dunkin' Donuts, I think, falls a little short here. I think its sweetness kind of overpowers the coffee, and it's more fake to me. So as far as winners go, I think Starbucks is clearly the winner here as far as my taste test goes. I like the notes of it. It has the spices that you would taste, like, to me, in like a chai latte or something of that nature. And I really like that. I like that. To me, it wasn't so overpowering pumpkin. It also had this long line of spice notes that trailed behind that pumpkin, and I think it's very, very good. This one kind of falls short just because, like I said, you have a lot of sweetness. You have a lot of kind of, to me, fake taste. Yes, you have some spices. Yes, you have the pumpkin. But if it was me to choose one, I would definitely choose the Starbucks. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what other reviews in the comments below that you'd like me to do. I like to do reviews on this channel just because it's all about coffee here with us. Some of these other reviewers that you're seeing, they don't even drink coffee, or maybe they drink it, but they're drinking an iced and they're drinking a hot, and that to me doesn't make a lot of sense. So I want to give you an honest review. And I want to help you with the best way I can as far as reviewing different coffees. So that being said, like this channel, subscribe to this channel, and we will see you guys next time.
I need you more.